The stage that we're really at now is that the planet is teaching us directly. It's as if we really are coming up to graduation time, as Bucky always said, and that the planet has all of the positive and negative feedback signals, which, if we can hear them, are the signals for us to change our belief systems and our value systems. For me, the metaphor was really Gaia, the living planet. People are beginning to realize that we humans do not manage this planet. And so it was an excessively anthropocentric view, which could have gotten us into a tremendous amount of trouble. So I think that having a more correct view of our place in nature and realizing that we are part of an orchestration of species, and that unless we think of the entire planet as a living system, we will not be able to survive and keep our place in it.
That shift is the fundamental shift that has to occur, and it involves understanding very simple principles, such as the notion that waste must equal food, that we have to protect biodiversity, and we have to utilize natural energy flows. As people who are responsible for designing, which means that we're imagining the future, if we don't deal with these things, in a sense, we're being negligent, because we actually may be doing things that are in the end, more destructive than they are productive. And that's a design problem, like no design problem.
Ecological design and ecological engineering is about as radical a discipline as you can get. Because what it says at the very outset is that human beings are going to be partners with other life forms.
To achieve a world of true partnership with nature, biochemist John Todd's rule of thumb is replace, wherever possible, machines with resilient living systems.
It's possible, using ecological engineering, to create living machines that will generate the fuels we need in the future, that will transform our waste, that will culture our foods, that will regulate our climates, and which will integrate our buildings with the larger world. So what's a living machine? How's it designed? What's it look like? It has engineering components, it has materials components, and it has living components. And they all are completely integrated.
In a living machine, the waste of one biological community becomes the food of the next. This living machine at Providence, Rhode Island, purifies the wastewater of 150 families without the use of toxic chemicals or of conventional machinery. The chain of linked ecosystems progressively consumes the toxins in the sewage until the water is 5 times cleaner than by conventional means. As on Earth, it is the rich diversity of life which ensures the health and resiliency of the system.
And one of the things that we find about designing these systems is that we can't know a fraction of what they know. That's why I call it a true partnership. I mean, they know more than we do. Say the organisms for waste treatment. When you set up the living machine, you don't know which organisms will recombine in the presence of the waste. So you get thousands of species of organisms from all kinds of different aquatic environments, and you seed them, preferably every season or 4 times a year, and they begin to recombine in ways to adapt to your waste. It can be as deadly as hell. They'll figure it out. You can't. But you must honor the system by making sure the cast of characters is there. So the design process is one that is in part taken place in the wild and brought into this new domestic, if you will, environment. The other aspect of all of this is the materials. 90% of our thinking is what I call gossamer engineering. And this is the kind of thing that Bucky thought a lot about. Membranes, intelligent membranes. And by intelligent, I mean able to change their properties so that they are one state when the internal state inside the machine is one way, and they're another state when the external is the other way. And one of the beautiful things about using ecology as a model is this concept of balance, this concept of all kinds of strange things that technologists don't think about. Pulses, day and night, season, cold, warm. How do you design all these things in so that they dance with each other?
In 1982, John Todd collaborated with J. Baldwin in the construction of a living machine within a geodesic pillow dome. With his biological approach, John Todd had achieved Buckminster Fuller's dream, a self-sufficient shelter, a house with its own metabolism.
When Bucky opened it, it was quite an experience because here was this tiny little structure. It was only 30 feet in diameter. And he completely understood what we were doing. That it was heating and cooling itself, that it was providing sustenance, that it was providing this deeply almost spiritual feeling it had. And Bucky walked into it, and as you know, it was very close toward the end of his life. And he said, "This is a dream of mine fulfilled. This is the stuff of my dream stuff fulfilled." The integration of nature and architecture, the missing link.
When I first walked into one of John Todd's bioshelters and living machines, I was struck not only by the fact that it worked, but by the fact that it was beautiful, the sense of peacefulness that they have. And I think that some of these outlaw designers who are the pioneers of the area of ecological design, by offering us a chance to actually see and feel ecological design, even if it's very local, are prefiguring the kind of design process that has to happen in the future. Now, our task is the task of